I am Slick Nick. And this is interesting. It's an epiphany that I had. That when a man gets married, by default, he becomes more masculine. Unless he doesn't. And then he becomes less masculine. See, and I'll tell you, I'm not ashamed. I will tell you that when I got married nearly 11 years ago, in 2008, July 5th, 2008, I was not the masculine man that I am now. I wasn't. I'm not even ashamed to tell you because this is how far I've come. I remember a couple months into being married, and this is a face palm right here, but I'm telling you right now. I remember shortly after I got married, a couple months after, I was part of a men's Bible study, and we were all newlyweds. And somehow the conversation came up about how sometimes you kind of take on more feminine roles in the relationship, and sometimes even the wife takes on masculine in some ways. And I remember I said unashamedly at the time, nearly 11 years ago, I said, you know, I think in general, I'm kind of more of the woman and my wife is more of the man. I said that. Now I'll tell you, I absolutely do not believe that now, because being married to my wife changed me for the better. So the things that were more wishy-washy and more Andy Bernard and indecisive and not taking control and letting my wife offend me and hurt my feelings, all of those things, I had to either step up or things weren't going to get better. I had to get to the point where I knew how to take control in the ways that I could, but without also being too forceful. I've learned, simply put, how to be more emotionally intelligent. And I've said many times, people buy into this false concept of what it means to be a beta male. And that version of the beta male who's very forceful, always gets his way, is taking charge all the time, it's not reality when you're married. Now granted, in Die Hard, he eventually got divorced, right? Because of that, because he was so headstrong, he wasn't willing to negotiate and collaborate and learn to speak other people's language and understand what motivates them and that sort of thing. But ultimately, that's one of the benefits of remaining married, choosing to be married, because it's not like it just easy. It's not like, oh yeah, I married the right person and that's why we're not divorced. No, the reason people aren't divorced is because they did what it took both of them to be emotionally intelligent enough to work with the other person. And I'm very proud of the fact that I've been married nearly 11 years. And boy, has it changed me. It had to change me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be a good husband and I wouldn't ultimately be a good father either. I have learned how to take charge in the ways that I need to, but not to be too forceful. And it's that balance. And that's the thing. I struggle to see how this at least TV version of an alpha male stays married, because that's not how marriage works. Marriage is something that you work on and you sacrifice. You sacrifice a lot of who you are, and they sacrifice a lot of who they are so that they can be a better person for you and you can be a better person for them. So ultimately, there were so many times early on in my marriage, I had to stand up for myself. And then there were others I had to actually take charge of the situation and be decisive, because if I left it all to my wife, that stressed her out more and made her more aggressive, which, right? Or I could say, no. What you actually, and I was able to realize what you're actually needing right now, you're needing me to be in charge of this and to make more decisions and be more proactive and all that. And then I learned when I did that, suddenly she's not getting all uptight and angry and upset with me because I'm doing my part. And granted, when you're married, your spouse is not going to say, hey, here's exactly what I need from you. Here's what I need you to do. And in these situations, here's how I need you to react and direct the situation and delegate. They're not, whether you're a husband or a wife, that conversation doesn't take place. You have to learn that over the years. And so ultimately, that's what's one of the benefits of being married, is that you become actually a more masculine man. Unless you're not proactive enough to be that, then things get really bad for you. And you're going to be stuck in an awful marriage and ultimately probably divorced if you can't be the man that she needs you to be. But imagine if you do stay married, as I have, then what happens is you become more emotionally intelligent. You have the success of staying married, which says a lot about you as a man. I think one of the most masculine things is that men are loyal and committed, yet still open-minded. And financially, it's been a great thing. It's like having a business partner, because in reality, my wife, even though I make amazing money in my day job, what I do in HR, my wife still makes more money than I do. It's not until you factor in all my side hustles, 2 YouTube channels, doing SEO for the university that I handle on the side, their SEO, Amazon links, selling real estate on my blog for online real estate, all that stuff. That's only when things start to get ahead. But imagine if we're both pulling in about the same amount of money, we're able to combine that in the same house and I'm able to afford this. I mean, there are so many benefits. It makes you a better man to be married and stay married. But I think the challenge for a lot of you watching this is like, well, how do I get someone to marry me to begin with? And the folly that so many younger men that watch my channel, they are in their minds in the wrong place. They're so fixated on their physical looks and thinking that's what's holding them back from being attractive. And in reality, it's not. In reality, women are not so much judging you on your looks, they're judging you on how much money you make, they're judging you on your skill set, they're judging you on your ability to make her laugh, judging you on your ability to show that you are kind and caring and help other people, that you're not hoping that bad things happen to other people, that you actually do things to help other people, that you are some sort of source of knowledge on certain things, but yet you're confident enough to know what you're not good at, so that you don't base your identity of, oh, I'm not good enough in these ways. Nope, here's the things I'm not good at, but here's what I am good at. And I'm happy to help in anything with here that I'm good at, and the stuff I'm not good at, I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to learn to become better. So yes, being married to a woman makes you a better man. It makes you a more masculine man. Unless you are not willing to do what it takes, then in theory you become less masculine, or are stuck in an awful marriage, or you get divorced. That's my knowledge. What's your knowledge? How does that make you feel when I say these things? Right here in the comment section.